Okay, so minus 182 r to the 12th over minus 72 r to the 9th. Get that right? Yeah. Or minus 7 r to the 9th, yeah. So, okay. So what's the deal with divide? So now we're in dividing. What's the deal with dividing fractions? What do we do? What's the rule here? Yeah, divide the numbers in the front, huh? So divide those numbers. You can use calculator. I don't know what 182 over 7 is. Is that what it is? And is it positive or negative? Yeah, you see 2 negatives is going to be positive, huh? 26. Thank you. Is that good so far? So just divide the numbers in the front using your calculator. You know the rule for the sides. 2 negatives make a positive. And then what do we do with the powers? What do we do with the 12 and the 9? Subtract them, huh? We divide the numbers in the front. We subtract the powers, don't we? And that's it. Done. That's not me. You're probably thinking, you said it's a hard section. Oh, it's easy. Well, they'll get hard in a minute. But they start easy. Good? Good so far? All right. So that's okay. So we've got 24x to the 7th minus 2x to the 6th plus x squared minus 8 over 4. So what do you do when you got like the one big bar like that? You make several division problems. You just separate them into 4. Just like distributing times, you distribute, divide. So it'll be 24x to the 7th over 4 minus 2x to the 6th over 4 plus x squared over 4 minus 8 over 4. You just put that 4 underneath each of them. Like that. A 4 just goes underneath each of them. And then you reduce. So 4 goes into 24 6 times. And what do you do with 2 over 4? Yeah, just reduce, huh? 2 goes into 4 2 times, huh? Minus x to the 6 over 2 plus x squared over 4. And then the one at the back is just 2. 8 divided by 4 is just 2. And that's it. We don't go back to one big bar. We can't make like all of them, you know, we separate it. And now we just keep them separate and we're done.
So for the answer, we would do like x to the 6th over 2. Like, would it mark us wrong if we did 1/2 and then x to the 6th?
Good question, good question. So what if instead of x to the 6th over 2, we put 1/2 x to the 6th, like that? That's the question, right? It's a good question. Let me ask you, are these the same or are they different? Is x squared over 6, oh sorry, x to the 6 over 2, is that the same as a 1/2 x to the 6 or different? How do you know they're the same? What if somebody said, no, the x to the 6 is in the front and here it's in the top? That's different. What would you just say?
No, but I know it's the same.
But if you don't know that, you don't know why it's the same.
We're multiplying the s6 by 1, the x6 by 1.
You're multiplying? Yeah, you're multiplying by 1 over 2, but it's got to go to both. Why would it be on the top? It's in the front, middle. And now that you're saying that's the same as being on the top? Why is the front middle the same as the top? You know the answer to that, don't you? To be alone is to be up top, right? Because anything alone is over 1. You say, hey, dummy, anything alone's over 1. Don't you know that? You don't call your friend dummy, but you would say that's the rule, right? Anything alone is over 1. Hello. Anything alone is over 1. It is over 1. To be alone is to be up top because to be alone is to be over 1. So yes, they're the same for that reason.
But would we be able to input it?
Yeah, Math Excel knows. Math Excel knows that rule. Okay. But what's most important, yeah, Math Excel will be fine with either one. But most importantly, multiple choice tests. Sometimes they write it that way, sometimes they write it that way. Yeah. So you don't want to get thrown off, you know, in the test. You want to look at that and go, oh yeah, I know that's the same because I know that rule. Right? So that's really good. It's valuable that I'm glad you brought that up. Anything alone is the same as being on the top because it's over 1, right? So that's why it's the same. Good. Yeah, because on the multiple choice, they might make it look different, and you don't want to get fooled, and then grab none of the above because you think that's not the same, So yeah, good question. Other questions on that? All right. More interesting. So we'll try that one. So 12x to the 7 minus 8x to the 6 plus 32x all over 4x. Okay, so you know what to do, right? Make it 3 separate fractions. 3 separate fractions, 3 separate division problems. And just do 3 separate divisions. Good, so 3 separate fractions, 3 separate division problems. All right, and then you divide the numbers, right? 4 goes into 12 3 times, and you subtract powers, right? So 7 minus 1 would be 3x to the 6th. Good so far? Minus, and then 4 goes into 8 2 times. Subtract the power. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then 4 goes into 32 8 times. The x's cancel. Now, I've seen some people in the past go, no, it's just x to the nothing, because the power subtracted is nothing. No, x alone means 1. That's not right. It's just no x at all, huh? Right? Because it's really 1 minus 1 is 0. It's no x at all. So there it is. Is that good? Questions on that? Just 3 separate division problems, 3 separate fractions. All right, I'm going to move on. Things are going to get crazy now. You ready? So that's the end of the easy stuff. So, x squared plus 5x minus 26 over x plus 7. Well, here's the deal on this one. When you have a plus or minus, see, plus and minuses is the problem again. In a denominator, you must do long division. So when you have a plus or minus in the denominator, you must do long division. So I've got to turn this into a long division problem. So that means like this, x plus 7 into x squared plus 5x minus 26. I got to make it into a big old long division problem. That's what's required when you have pluses or minuses in the denominator. So, how do you do that? Do you remember anything about long division? Been a while since you long divided by hand? So, remember, let's just think about numbers for a minute. What if you did like 21 in 8,265? Let's just think about number long division. Let's make this 4. Okay, so what would you do first in 8,465? What would you do? Would you look at the whole thing and think, wow, I don't know, how many times does 21 go in there? Maybe 100 or 200 or 300? No, you wouldn't think all that. You wouldn't look at the entire 8,000 number and start thinking about how many 21s in 8,000 whatever, would you? You would just look at the front and the front, not everything at once, huh? And you would just say, hey, 21 can go into 84. You wouldn't even worry about the rest right now. How many times? What times 21? What can I put up here? What number up here times the 21 to be 84? How many times does that go in there? 4 times, right? You'd say what goes in there 4 times. You're not meaning the whole 8,000 number, huh? You're just looking at the front, right? It's exactly what we'll do. We'll just go over here and just look at the front. Same kind of thinking. Well, just like we look right here and go, what times 2 will make 8? 4. 4 times 2 is 8, right? We'll go, what can I put up here? Times x, that'll be x squared. We're just the front and the front. Don't worry about everything else. Same thing as number long division. So what can I put up here? What times x will make x squared? Well, x, yeah, totally. Totally. So we just go, well, x times x is x squared. And then you write it down here, don't you? Let's go back to now. What do you do with the number? What does this 4 do? It multiplies these guys, both of them, huh? It distributes. It goes to the 2 and the 1, huh? And where do you write the answer? Under the 84, huh? 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And then you subtract, huh? Do the same thing with the letters. What is this x going to do? Multiply both these guys and write the answer down here and subtract. Same thing, huh? So the x will go to both. Like that. See how I'm doing the same thing as we do for number long division? Good so far? And then we subtract, right? X squared minus x squared is cancel. Good. Now what? What comes next? 5x subtract 7x. What's that? Minus 2x. And then we do the minus 26. Bring it down, right? That's what you always do with the extra part, right? Just bring it down. So this is the same as number, long division, just with letters. So far, so good? Okay, now, and let's go, like you go 0 here, and then you go, okay, bring down the 65. Right? Then what would you do next? Let's think about the number. Now you got the 65. Let's get rid of the 0. It doesn't matter. The 84 is just, we're gone. So bring down 65. Okay, now what would you do next? Where would you look? Where would your eyes be focused here? The front and the front. Yeah, you always just look at the front and the front, huh? You would just go right here and you go, okay, 2, 6. What can I put up here? Times 21 that'll make or go into 65. Right? Isn't that what you would think? Right? What times 21 makes 65? Yeah. 3. Huh. Does that make sense? And then that would be 63. Right? That 3, 63. And you write down here and subtract. Huh. And whatever's left over, that's the remainder, huh? Right? So where did I look? Front. I said, what up here times the front will match the front, huh? What can I put up here times the front that'll match the front? Same thing here. Front. What can I put up here? Yeah, good. Minus 2 times the front that'll match the front. Yeah, you want to match it exactly. Same sign, same everything, identical. So, and what does that minus 2 do? It distributes to both of them, though. Whoops. Had the eraser on there. Distributes to both of them, doesn't it? Not just the front one. You guys with me? Right? Is that good? And so then we write the answer down here. So minus 2x minus 14. That good? How we doing? This is the tough part right here. This is what we've been building towards. This is game time. Game on, right here. You ready? Is that making sense? What just happened there? So I put a minus 2 up there. Whatever you write at the top multiplies both these guys, and you write them down here. That's what we do for numbers, right? We do the 3. Multiply both those guys, write it down here. Huh. Same thing. And now I do what? Subtract, huh? Questions so far? Is this making sense? Now careful. Here's where people get really stumbled, is on the subtraction. Because you're going to subtract a negative. What does that do when you subtract a negative? When I draw my line, I go, okay, it's time Time to subtract here. I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to subtract. Like you subtract the bottom line. But we never have negatives with numbers. With letters stuff we do. Subtract. These guys are both negative. What does it do to subtract negatives? It switches, it adds. So why don't we just make them both plus sign right now? Because that negative will switch them, huh? You with me? When you subtract the negative, it adds. Right? So negative 2x and positive x cancels. That's beautiful. You always want that to happen. The other one, minus 26 plus 14. That's now add 14, huh? Because of the subtraction. What is that? I don't know, like minus 10? 12? 12? Minus 12? Yeah, minus 12. I'm not adding very well today. Minus 12? That's our remainder. Isn't it? Am I good? How we doing? And how do you write the answer, the final answer? Do you remember for numbers? You take the remainder and you put it over the left. It's 2 over 21. It's remainder over the left. So same thing here. Remainder minus 12 over the left. X plus 7. There's our answer. So minus the remainder, the minus 12 over x plus 7. If you want to go plus a negative 12, that's the same thing. It's the same answer. So it's got to be remainder over the left. Is that good? You want to try that? This is the messy stuff. This is the try it. Okay. So number 7. How would you look at number 7 and know that you have to do long division? What is the mark, the indicator? How are you going to recognize on the exam next, whatever it is, Monday or Tuesday or something, next Tuesday, how are you going to recognize, hey, that's a long division one? Yeah. Plus or minus in the denom, huh? Must do long division. So you got to turn it into long division. Now these are the hard ones. Okay, give it a go. So do it just like number long division. Look at the front and the front. What times the front will match the front. So what are you going to put up here? What up here times the front will match the front. What times x is x squared? X, yeah. So put up here x. And it's going to go to both of them, huh? X squared plus x. Draw your line, subtract. Is that good? So whatever you put up here, it distributes to both these, and you write the answer down here, don't you? And the front two should always cancel out. Why? Because we made them identical, and then we subtract them, they're gone. That'll always happen. Now, what happens with the rest? 8x minus x. 7x, and bring down the plus 7. That good for the first step? Try the second one. Second step. One more step. All right, what am I going to put up here? Times the front, that'll match the front. What times x makes 7x? Yeah, 7, huh? You know, good with that? It's a plus 7, and it's going to go to both, isn't it? Whatever you write there goes to both. 7x plus 7, subtract 0. We're done. No remainder on this one. Goes in perfectly. What's the answer? It's the top, the x plus 7 in the top. Is that good? Questions on that one? Yeah.
Would factoring play a role to get factor or not?
Yeah, see, this one you totally good thought. You could just factor this one, huh? They can just factor, but the last one you couldn't have because this doesn't even factor. So why? Because it had a remainder. You see, when they have a remainder, they won't factor. But yeah, for the ones that have no remainder like this one, it would have been easier just to factor the top and cancel, huh? Which is fine. If you want to do that, do that. Yeah, on the ones with no remainder, it'll save you some time. If the rest of you don't understand that, some do, some don't, I'm sure. Next week, or actually into this week, it's never long. By this Thursday, we'll be factoring in. But anyway, just do this way, you'll be fine. The ones that have remainders, you have to do it this way. Other questions on this one? Okay. So we have, gonna do long division because there's a plus sign in the denominator. X plus 9 times x squared plus 7x minus 28. So try that one. So start with the front and the front. What do you put up here? Times the front, that will match the front. What times x is x squared? Start there. So x goes first, right? And then you multiply both those. You get x squared plus 9x, and then you subtract. Gone, and 7x minus 9x is minus 2x. Bring down the minus 28. Good for the first step? Is that okay? So take the next step. Everybody's questions on that one? See what happened there?
So why would you not subtract? Why wouldn't you add the 9x and 7x instead?
You're subtracting the whole bottom row.
Subtracting the whole, so basically there's like a parentheses in it.
Yeah, you're really right. It's going on both of them. They're both becoming negative. Yeah, because you're subtracting the whole bottom row. Right, isn't that what happened with numbers? Remember how you do numbers? You remember that one I did a minute ago, whatever it was? Right, see how? You subtract the whole 84, don't you? Yeah, it's the same thing. We subtract that whole row. Yeah, so you're totally right. It's like they're both negative in a sense. That's what subtraction is, yeah. Good. All right, next line. Now, what are you going to do next? You gotta ask yourself, what am I going to put up here? What am I going to put up here? What times the front that'll match the front? What times the front will match the front? Yeah, it's got to be exact match. Same sign, same everything. Yeah, -2, huh? -2. And go to both, right? -2. Because you want an exact match in the front. -2 goes to both, and you get -2x minus 18. Isn't that good? And then what do we do now? We subtract. Now, what is subtracting that whole bottom line going to do to those signs? Yeah, it's going to switch them, huh? So it'll become plus, plus really, right? Because you're subtracting negatives, which is adding. Right? So these guys cancel. Negative 2x and plus 2x gone. Negative 28 and plus 18 is negative 10. That's your remainder, huh? Everybody see how I got negative 10 remainder there? See how they want me to do an instant replay of the action there? Right? Did you see what happened? One more time. So we had the negative 2 up here multiplied negative 2x minus 18. Drew my line for subtraction, but as soon as I subtracted, I went, oh, if you're going to subtract a couple negatives, it's going to actually add, isn't it? Subtracting a negative is adding for both of them. So these cancel. Negative 2x and plus 2x is 0. Perfect. They should always cancel. Negative 28 plus 18 now, because you're subtracting a negative, plus. Negative 28 plus 18 is negative 10. That's your remainder. How do you write the answer? You write plus the remainder over the left. So is remainder over the left. Negative 10 over x plus 9. Like that. Is that good? Questions on that one? No questions? All is well? All right. So we're going to do long division because there's a plus sign on the bottom. Let's write it as long division. X plus 7 into x squared minus 49. Try that one. So what times the front will match the front? X again, right? It's not always X. It'll change in a minute, but has been for a while. So go to both of them. X squared plus 7x. Draw your line. Subtract. All right? We get there. So these subtract. Now you can't subtract 49 and 7x because they're unlike terms, huh? If that had an x, then I could subtract them and get whatever I get. But it doesn't. They're unlike terms. So what do? You just bring them both down. But remember that minus is on the 7x, and then the 49 is also negative. And you got to put them in order. Put the x first. Everybody tracking with me on that? Everybody see that? Minus 7x minus 49. That okay? Right? See why it's minus 7x? Because you're subtracting that bottom line. So you're subtracting the x squared, and you're subtracting the 7x, so it's a minus 7x. And then the minus 49. See why I put the x first? Because we always have to have highest power of x to lowest. That good? Okay, ready for step 2? So where do you look? Where do we always look? Front and front. What times the front will match the front? Want an exact match. Same sign, same everything. So what times the front will match the front? Minus 7. Minus 7 is going to go to both. Minus 7x minus 49, that's a 0 remainder. Subtract them. They both become plus, 0, 0. Done. Our answer's where? Up here. Is that good? You okay with all those signs and things? Anything I can answer on that? Okay. Okay, x plus 8 going into x cubed plus 512. So try that one. How are we doing? So what goes up here? What up here times x will match x cubed? X squared, huh? Yeah. X squared. And then multiply both these and we'll get x cubed plus 8x squared. Good so far? Does that make sense? And then draw your line, subtract. These cancel. And what do you get? Minus 8x squared plus 512. Right? Because you're subtracting the x cubed and subtracting the 8x squared. So it's a minus 8x squared. How we doing? Is that good? And then bring down the plus 512. Always put the x, the bigger x in the front. Okay, step 2. Where do we look? Front and front. What times the front will match the front? What times x makes minus 8x squared? Negative 8x. So, boom, boom. Minus 8x squared minus 64x. Like that? That good? So now, draw your line, change your signs. Or just subtract, which will change the signs, huh? Am I going too quick? Is this making sense? How are we doing? Am I going too quick on this? Questions I can answer? So minus 8x up here, we'll multiply both those. And then you're going to subtract these guys, which is going to change them both to plus, huh? Right? You change all the signs on the bottom line because you're subtracting. It's like you said, it's parentheses like, distributes through the bottom. So then the 8x squareds cancel, and then you just bring down the plus 64x plus 512. Now, we're not done this time. How do you know? Well, because there's another term that can go. You can say one more time, what times the front will match the front? 64, plain 64, a positive 64 with no x at all. That's right. Right? Everybody see that? the 64 times x will be 64x. 64 times 8 is 512, isn't it? So you subtract and it's 0. No remainder. So there's the answer right there. Is that good? Questions on that?
Negative sign would always be with like the bottom number, with the negative, with the 8x squared, not with the factorial.
I'll say it one more time.
The negative sign would only carry on to the bottom number.
No, it carries to everything. Where did you think it did it? Like right here? It went there, making that negative, and that's why these canceled. Positive x cubed and minus, and it went right there. That's why this is negative. Right? Why else did this come out negative? Because that minus went there. Yeah, so whenever you subtract, everybody in that bottom line. So if you want, you could just take the minus and just put it on all of them. Because that's what it does. Because you're subtracting the whole bottom line. As if there's parentheses, it's distributing to everybody. That makes sense on that? Well, these are the ugly ones. We have time for a couple, maybe two more. All right. Okay. So 7x plus 3. And this is 14x cubed minus 50x squared minus 59x minus 15. All right, try that one. That's a big one. I'll do one step and stop, one step just to help. Maybe I'll just do one step at a time and give you time in between. So what times the front will exactly match the front? It's always your question. So 2x squared, you getting that for the first one? I'll do the first step. It should be 2x squared. Then you multiply both the 2 in the front, you get 14x cubed plus 6x squared. Draw your line. Yeah, and the subtraction, it'll go on both. Let's just put it on both of them. Negative, negative, because that's what it's going to do. You're going to subtract everybody, which means you're going to change all the signs effectively. So that's a negative 14x cubed and a negative 6x squared, really, in the end, after the subtraction does his thing. Right? And so what you get, then, is minus 56x squared. And then you just bring down the minus 59x and bring down the 15. Good? Good to there. And now front to front. What times 7x? Exactly. Same sign, same everything. Matches minus 56x squared. What times 7x exactly matches minus 56x squared? Minus 8x. Right? So carry out that step. minus 8x has to multiply both those two. Multiply them both and write them down there. So, what do we get? Minus 56x squared minus 24x. Draw your line, change your signs. Right, because you're subtracting the whole bottom line. Right? So you should change this to a plus and this to a plus. These cancel, as always. What do the other two do? So here we have minus 59x and actually plus 24, huh? Does everybody see that there? So I don't know what that is. Minus 35x. Bring down the minus 15. Everybody good to there? Everybody see what happened on step 2? Everybody okay with all those little signs? It's easy to get messed up in the signs, huh? Make it big. Give yourself enough room to see those signs. Be more likely to get it right. So that minus 8x multiplies both those. You get minus 56x squared and minus 24x. But change the signs both to plus, huh? Change both signs to plus because you're subtracting both these guys. Change them both to plus. Add them up. Okay. And now, what times the front will match the front. Same sign, same everything. What times 7x makes negative 35x? Negative 5. And that negative 5 multiplies both those. Negative 35x minus 15. Subtract them. They're going to both become plus 0. No remainder. So what's our answer? It's just the top up here. Was that good? Is that making sense? Questions I can answer on that one? No, we good? All right. That's a messy one. If you're doing that one, you're doing well. Okay, so number 14 here. And they're writing the dividing sideways, whatever, same thing. So the one on the right, this guy is really on the bottom, right? Because when you divide, the one on the right's on the bottom, right? If I go like 6 divided by 2, that means 6 over 2, doesn't it? Right? The one on the right is really on the bottom. You with me? So this one on the right here, that's really the denominator. This is the denom. And he has adding and subtracting. So what does that mean? Long division. So 6x plus 2 into 18x to the third minus 42x squared minus 70x minus 18. So, take it from there. Compare front to front. Okay, so what goes up here is 3x squared, right? Goes to both. And that'd be 18x cubed minus 6x squared. Good so far? Draw your line, subtract, which means change both signs, really. Becomes a negative, becomes a positive, doesn't it? Right? Because you're subtracting the 18, so it's negative. Subtracting the negative 6, which makes it plus. Changes the signs. Question?
How did you get negative 6 minus 3?
Oh yeah, how did I? I'm crazy. Thanks. No, I'm just wrong. That's weird. Like that, huh? Thank you. Right? Those signs were wrong? Thank you. Right, because it should be plus at first, right? 3 times 2 is plus 6, but then we're subtracting, so they both become negative, huh? Okay. So these cancel. And minus 42 minus 6 is minus 48x squared. Good. Bring down the 70x, bring down the 18. All right, next step. Right, good to there? So next step, we compare front to front. So what times the front will exactly match the front? Do we need any signs, or what do we need on that one? Yeah, we need minus 8x, huh? Because minus 8x will go boom and a boom and be minus 48x squared minus 16x. Good, draw your line. Now subtract, which means change both the signs. Becomes plus, huh? We're subtracting both the negatives. These cancel, always. This is minus 70x plus 16. Right after the change, after the subtracting, the negative is plus, really. Minus 70x plus 16 is minus 54x. Bring down the minus 18. Are we good to there? Now, last step. What times the front will match the front? What times 6x makes negative 54x? Minus 9. That minus 9 will go to both. Boom, boom, be right here. So minus 9 be minus 54x minus 18. Perfect. 0. Remainder. That's a 2 up there. There is our answer. Questions on that? Is that making sense? All right, have you had enough? It's a lot of math.